Yeah, that's the one, actually.
They really should make American McGee's Alice in Wonderland.
Dude, they're doing. There's supposed to be a new Alice game coming out. I saw on Facebook. I don't know if it's actually like a thing yet or not, but those two games were fucking amazing.
Yeah. They were sick and twisted.
Especially the second one, man. When they started revealing like the actual plot, I was like, oh, that's icky.
Well, we've got a viewer on YouTube already. This will be good.
Sweet.
Can they see us yet?
They can.
Yeah, YouTube can see us.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go to the page just in case anybody comments from there. We've got 65 subscribers now.
Hell yeah.
Woohoo.
That's something. Let's start.
I have the Sabrina trailer. The Summer of '84 trailer is playing now because we got a huge shout out. Jared's review got a huge shout out from RKSS.
That's really cool.
Roadkill Superstar.
I still can't pronounce their names, but we're just going to call them RKSS. I'm friends with them on Facebook, and I don't know how to say their names yet. That's bad. That's bad.
It's Joe from Technical Defects.
Oh, okay, hey Joe. What's up, buddy?
Francois, Johan, and Anu.
Are they French Canadian?
Yeah.
It felt Canadian, that movie.
Yeah, I think it was shot in Vancouver.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube, but we start YouTube first. So people can get a little glimpse into how mad we are.
I'm real mad. I'm raging, yo.
Oh, man. Next week, I'm going to be fucking furious if none of the equipment works for the Facebook Live. Because I'm going to be Facebook Live at NJ HorrorCon.
Oh, is that next week?
That's next weekend.
Shit. I wanted to go to that, but I can't.
Oh, you bitch.
I know. When I have Doomsday Blu-rays, I'll go. I'll table up with you boys, and we can have fun. It's twice a year, isn't it?
Listen, if you get Blu-rays, just come to our table.
Is it twice a year or once a year?
I think it's twice a year.
Yeah, one like March or April.
I wanted to go. That was a good time.
I already told Mike. I said we could split the cost of the table if he wants to do like share a table, a Horror Syndicate Doomsday table, a real splatter, really. Yeah, Horror Syndicate table.
That'll be a lot of fun.
I was trying to worm my way into getting the Horror Syndicate logo on the back of the Doomsday Blu-ray, but I guess that's not going to happen.
Yeah, put it in the contract.
Just like the Scream Team contracts, the Doomsday contract.
See, what I should have done is like what Dimension Extreme used to do, is just make up a bunch of quotes and then go to horror sites and say, "Hey, will you stand behind this if we put your logo on?"
Yeah.
Really? They did that?
Yeah, my cousin used to do their artwork for their DVDs and told me that's how it works a lot of the time. And there's a particular website that will remain nameless that was very notorious for doing that. And
I don't know if I have any inside Dimension Extreme TV. I think Feast is the only one I have.
yeah, I had like inside. You ever see the cover for not inside? Broken. Novelty.
Broken.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I don't even remember if the movie's good or not, but I still own it just because of the cover. Check this shit out.
Storm Warning, I think, is another one they did.
So check this out, right? Ooh, when it pulls open, and there's a fucking razor blade and intestines in it. It's the coolest.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Is that inside?
No, it's broken.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty cool.
I don't know if I can't remember if the movie was good or not, but I love the cover.
Yeah, if Scream Factory ever took that, they'd have to do the same thing.
Yeah, the slipcase is really cool.
Oh man, this intro never works when I want it to. Oh well, we'll figure it out. All right, we're gonna be live in 5, 4.
That's quick. You turn that down.
3.
You get naked and come over here.
Michael.
What?
No, Michael.
All right, fine.
All right, good evening, everybody. You cannot see my face until now. Hello, and I am all the way over here. Oh, I got a lot of technology. Let's fucking fix that. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Enright, and this is an episode of THS Lives here tonight on this beautiful Friday evening, unless you're in North Carolina. Yeah. So, thank you for joining us tonight. We have a pretty cool show to talk about. We don't have any guests this evening, but we're going to talk about all the cool horror stuff that is going on, such as movies as Summer of '84. We're going to talk a little bit about Hereditary for those who have seen it. I know some here at the Horror Syndicate have not seen it. We'll maybe mention a little bit. We'll go into a lot of other horror movies, especially those indie films such as House Shark. Got to see that today. That was very exciting. But my name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright, or sorry, this got a message that threw me off. We're live, people, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Horror Jew.
Brian,
Up next, we have some audio issues, and there we go. Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Hey, good evening, everybody. You can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or on Twitter at zombie_survivor. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Jared. You see him at the film festivals. He's winning awards left and right, ladies and gentlemen. The award-winning director of I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday, Mr. Mike Lombardo. Mike, good evening.
Thank you for that sponsored intro, Brian Enright. I paid $50 for him to say all that stuff. I'm Mike Lombardo. You can find me at realsplatter.com. That's real with 2 E's. Facebook.com/realsplatter. Get ready for a curveball. Twitter.com/realsplatter. And hopefully at some film festivals and other things coming up very soon. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you very much, Mike Lombardo. Awesome to have you on with us this evening. And I'm sorry, I'm like, when we were finished up introducing everybody, I got some pretty terrible, devastating news. But and last but not least, our president Fjord Razor. Ray, good evening, man.
So you're gonna follow up me with devastating news. That's fine. I've had a bad day as it is. You can follow me on Twitter at Razor_33. You can follow me on Facebook if you'd like. Just find my name. I want to shout out to Virginia and Ron Buchanan hooking me up with this awesome camera so I don't look fuzzy anymore. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I wish I could sound more grateful, but my day has been garbage. My Hulu account got hacked. So X-Hopper, if you're out there, whoever the fuck you are, go fuck yourself. Right there.
Yeah.
Fuck you, xhopper@gmail.com.
There you go. Xhopper@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's right. Fuck you.
Okay.
All right, so devastating news. I don't know if it's really devastating news or not, but I made a short movie called Cuddles a few years back, and I just got this sent to me as a picture. You see this. Looks like someone is making a horror movie with the very mask that I used for Cuddles. I don't know what that means, but I'm changing the mask for it anyway. Those who don't know anything about Cuddles, please go to youtube.com and search Cuddles the movie. You can see my name all over it. I made a short film called Cuddles. It's about a man wearing a bear mask, and he goes on a serial killing rampage with a samurai sword in the mid-'90s with a cool '90s soundtrack. And it's very Italian disco and a very alternative rock. So check it out, Cuddles the movie. But here we are, guys.
Any clue who did that?
Yeah, the name's on there and everything. I think it's some type of photographer, and it just caught me off surprise. Just caught me by surprise seeing it.
Brian, if you'd like, why don't you upload the Cuddles trailer over on our page too, the Horror Syndicate's YouTube. Give it some more exposure since we've got 65 subscribers now.
I should, but I don't want people to cry and then unfollow us.
I don't know if that's how it works, but
so, but cool news is that the movie Cuddles is actually in pre-production right now. Me and the actor who played Cuddles, Mike Marino, have been going back and forth about finding times and dates and the budgeting and getting the script finalized and finished. And hopefully we'll get the teddy bear out of hibernation and he'll see the light of day. But yeah, so that's exciting. Next week we have NJ HorrorCon in Atlantic City. You're going to see me. I'm going to be there along with writers Chuck Ransford and Jenny Noble from the Horror Syndicate. I'll be there as well as with my wife and daughter. And so come to our Horror Syndicate table. We have a press table. We'll be doing live Facebook all weekend. It'll be crazy. We'll be interviewing not so much the celebrity guests, because you gotta do a little bit more to have a celebrity guest on go live with you on Facebook. With you gotta talk to the managers or agents, give them some money and plan that shit ahead of time. Yeah, and they already got schedules for photo ops, so we're not going to do that. But what we really are aiming for is, if you're a filmmaker and you're going to be at NJ HorrorCon, your movie's playing at NJ HorrorCon, please, please, please come to our table for your 5 to 10 minutes of fame. Talk about your movie. Talk about what is going on, what inspired you to make this, and where can we find it if people cannot make it to NJ HorrorCon to see your film or short film, in the horror genre that you've worked tirelessly hours and hours to make it come to life and be at NJ HorrorCon. We'll also have the schedule and the list of all of the photo ops coming up, the schedule and list of all the films that are playing the entire weekend. So if you are at NJ HorrorCon and you just don't have a pamphlet on you, please, please, please like the Horror Syndicate Facebook page, because we will have all that information available to you via social media on Facebook. So it's really exciting. We have a lot of shit planned out. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your beautiful faces there. So let's get into it.
Is Lauren going to be there? Lauren Lepre from Dark Military?
Lauren Lepre will be there. He'll be joining us at our table. So if you want to get a copy of the Dark Military, come to the Horror Syndicate table. I know Lauren will be bringing a few extra copies with him for sale. It's a really cool movie. I got my copy. I got my special limited edition copy Blu-ray, and that's from Screen Team Releasing. That was produced distroed by them. But this is Average Superstar Film. The Dark Military, starred and directed by Lauren Lepre, also directed by Stephen Carino. It's a pretty cool movie, action horror movie about partygoers getting thrown into the woods and their deaths being displayed live on the dark web. So go check that out.
Also, Brian wrote a review on the horrorsyndicate.com. There's trailers up too, if you want to check out the trailers before you buy. I got a copy of it too, but I'm not reaching down there to pick it up.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a pretty cool movie, and I'm glad that it's really exciting when we get to see movies that our friends have worked on. They come to the light of day, which I know that there was an announcement, a little soft opening announcement that was made by someone special. We go talk about that.
Which soft opening you're talking about, but that's going to be another $50.
I was going to say, that's like something you have to pay for.
Now, if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, then I think that's totally okay to talk about.
That's totally okay. We can talk about it?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, coming to a Scream Team Releasing, Mike, take it away.
We will be releasing I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday through Scream Team Releasing. That's really all I can say. But yeah, we announced it a little bit ago at after Genre Blast Film Festival, because there's a big banner that has our poster on it. And I was like, oh, I guess that we are allowed to talk about this now. So that's coming out. It's got a shitload of extras on it. I'm not going to get into what they are exactly. But there will be a Blu-ray, DVD, all that fun jazz coming out sometime soon. I'm not going to give a release date because I'm not allowed to, but you do the math when you think this movie will be out. at some point around that time. I'll give you a hint. It's not Valentine's Day.
Easter.
Yep. Damn it, Larry. I told you not to tell him. But yeah, check that out. And Scream Team should be doing like a full announcement with all the details and, pre-order or whatever, all that who such and nonsense is. But
We
yeah,
will
we're very,
too.
very excited.
Yeah, we will too. Because keep tuned to horrorsyndicate.com and our podcast. Because Mike will break the news when Justin allows him. Justin Seaman from the barn allows him to. And there may be something special we're doing also when it comes out.
Talking about soft openings.
Soft opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about push and roll. Whoa.
Delicious Mike Lombardo mouth.
Keith said that shirt. That's the Meteor shit, Cavity Colors shirt. My lovely girlfriend Lex Quinn got this for me. I have the Your Head is a Cake as a hoodie as well. And you said
Oh,
VHS.
yeah, I like that one too.
I cannot divulge if there will be a VHS or not, but there will certainly be things happening. So,
Yeah, so
We'll do a special announcement show when Justin gives the go ahead.
when he takes the ball gag out of my mouth, he's got me on a short leash.
a literal gag
or is
order.
it an actual ball gag? That's the question. Oh, I just got word. Vincent DeSante bought a Horror Syndicate t-shirt and a mug. Thanks, Vince.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
if
your
anybody's
support,
not aware,
Vincent.
we do have t-shirts for sale again, and they come in many colors. It's the white logo. Sorry, because we've already done the blue logo run, which I might do again, piggybacking this one for anybody who's interested in the blue logo. But teespring.com/the Horror Syndicate. You got t-shirts, hoodies, women's t-shirts, kids t-shirts, and a mug. So, and the mugs are like 3 different colors too. So go to teespring.com/the Horror Syndicate and help me pay for the fucking website. teespring.com/the Horror Syndicate. Oh, hoodies.
We got an echo.
Is that me?
No, that was me. Sorry, guys.
I love you
Fall and
too.
winter's coming up, kiddies, man. It's hoodie season, and
It
those
is. It's
hoodies
just
look
in time,
fucking
and-
awesome.
Exactly, Jared. I appreciate that. I plan on ordering a t-shirt and hoodie as soon as I get my $150 back from fucking Hulu.
What's that email again? So we can, our viewers watching right now can politely email him.
EXHOPPER @gmail.com.
So that's xhopper@gmail.com who hacks Hulu accounts and charges Ray like $200.
They got Hulu Live. They got the total package with Hulu. and tomorrow I was going to get charged another $96. So luckily I caught up today.
Jesus. They probably
So,
added all the movie add-ons too.
Yeah, all the movie add-ons, live TV. Because the thing that I was telling Brian about this, the thing that got me noticing something was wrong was Hulu doesn't have a FX, so we can't watch new episodes of American Horror Story. And it asked me if I'd like to continue watching American Horror Story episodes. Huh? I didn't watch that, and I asked my kids if they watched it.
They're
You
just
know-
like My Little Pony and like all this weird shit. It's like, what the fuck?
No,
You know
but
who
My
watched
Little Pony did, legit, because Helena watches that stuff. So
You know who watched it? xhopper@gmail.com.
yep, ex-opera.
Yeah, that son of a bitch.
They got cut off, so they're gonna log into Hulu tonight and find nothing. So
But I'm pretty sure they'll find some spam mail in their Gmail, which is xhopper@gmail.com. Brian J. Conway, I'm here for you, Brian. Thank you for being here for me today. I'm reading the Facebook comments now.
fantastic.
Virginia Buchanan says, do the blue. She will order those too.
Oh, we will. Virginia, I love you and Ron.
Yes.
Love you guys. And really, I can't wait till you guys do something. Did you guys pick a movie for us to promote? Saying the Buchanan's movie choice of the month or whatever, or the week for Shudder? They just signed up for Shudder.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron was telling me all these movies they were checking out. And then he sends me like screenshots of all these different movies. I haven't seen any of them. The only one that I recognized, honestly, was Revenge.
Yeah, that's a hit.
And I still haven't watched it. I just figured my Hulu, how to get Hulu on, I mean, not Hulu. Fuck. I'm stuck with Hulu. Shudder on my TV now.
Yeah.
So,
Revenge is
but I
a
told them to
French
pick a movie.
horror flick.
Yeah, it looks cool. I told them to pick a movie and let me know what it is, and we'll call it the Buchanan's pick of the week. So
Yes,
love
super
the
fans.
Buchanan. They're awesome. They're great. They bought T-shirts also.
I love Virginia and Ron Buchanan. They're super fans of the Horror Syndicate, and we want them here forever. So thank you very much, guys. Shout out to Denise Davidette. Hi, Denise. I hope you and Lane are enjoying the west side of the map. Family members of mine who just moved out to Las Vegas. So
Las Vegas.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
The Windy City, the Big Apple. I plan to visit it one day.
It's just God's country. Let's just leave it at that.
The Bible Belt, the breadbasket, the Fertile Crescent.
Yeah. The devil's anus. Yeah, this is what happens when we don't really have an idea. That's the show tonight's called "Who Knows We Don't." We're speaking it tonight because I'm trying to line up some guests. We're gonna have Justin M. Seaman from the Barn on in October. On the 26th, boys. I don't know if I told you all. We're gonna have the director of Spirit of Haddonfield, Renee Rivas, on, but we're gonna talk about his movie, which comes out. Huh?
That
guy.
Yeah, that guy. Anyway, he's gonna come on and talk about the new Halloween movie with us. So, yeah, so we got to go see it, in that week before the show. Except for Mike, you're exempt because you hate that, Halloween.
Yeah, I'm not going to enjoy it, so.
Yeah. So we'll just talk about it with you, like, throwing dick and fart jokes, and that'll work.
Was that revenge?
I'll tell you what else I'm not going to enjoy is probably the new Predator movie that I'm going to go see this weekend.
Oh, the one that's got all those terrible reviews.
I didn't look at the reviews yet. I just watched the trailer. I was like, oh boy. I mean, I love Predator, and I really want it to be good, but the trailer is not promising. I avoided watching any of those shit, but it popped up on YouTube, and I was trying to watch a Lady Gaga video.
Oh.
Priorities. Priorities.
I don't get. They're trying to. I don't know. They're trying to up the ante. Like, I feel like Predator is already terrifying. Like, Predator's is arguably one of the greatest creature designs in history.
Oh yeah.
Predator, Stanley just knocked that shit out of the park, right?
Predator is already up.
The Alien, two greatest creatures of all time. So
and Predator 2 is the best movie of all time.
I love Predator 2. I think Predator 2 is a great movie that gets a bad rap for no reason. But so, you got the Predator. It's like a sport hunting, like alien monster. It's like 8.5 feet tall, super muscular. It's absolutely terrifying, right? What's scarier? A bigger one.
A gigantic one.
Yeah, it's like
he's 2 stories tall.
Yeah, like, oh my God, this is an even bigger Predator. I'm like, boy, this one can snap me in half with its bare hands more than the other one can.
So let me give you a quick review, Mike. I didn't see it, but our good friend of the show, Nathan Thomas Milliner, or as you call him, Thomas Nathan Milliner.
Yeah, no, I was calling like Craig or something fucking stupid. I was calling him Thomas, and I'm like, oh, Thomas. He's like, yep. He's such a fucking nice guy. He won't even.
Is. But he saw it. He said it was basically like a Predator cartoon. So
a Predator cartoon, like CGI wise, or
no. I think based like the action. I could look up his Facebook and get the quote directly, but based on the action, it's a bubblegum cartoon. I think is what he said, something along those lines.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know.
Where do you see it?
I mean, most cartoons are enjoyable, so maybe that's at least something.
Oh, it came out tonight, didn't it?
That is true. I mean, Predator 2 was very bubblegum cartoon action.
Yeah, with all the drug dealers hanging from the rafters and stuff.
Yeah. Total bubblegum.
Candy.
Okay, well, let's talk about Predator 2 for a minute here, right? Everyone shits on that movie.
They do.
No. Hold on. Who you're friends with some bad people then?
No, trust me, I know. I've seriously considered, like, people are always like, oh, I'm gonna call my friends list on Facebook. I'm gonna do it in real life. Because I'm just gonna start killing off my friends that don't like Ghostbusters 2 and Predator 2.
I agree.
Because, like, so the first half of Predator is just a sweaty, generic 80s action movie. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine.
Is someone crying?
It's
my dog's chewing on a chew toy.
Okay, I wonder what the hell that was. So it's just a bunch of it's basically a one-liner factory, and that's cool. And then it just turns into Predator fucking stalking people and skinning people and killing shit. Right? They're getting picked off one by one. So Predator 2. We already know what the hell the Predator is. We already know the reveal from the first one, so it's all Predator action. So it's just Predator offing people and people shooting guns. It's the same fucking movie, except it's in a concrete jungle instead of a botanical jungle. But I'm like, what's the problem with this? It's no less ridiculous than fucking a guy shaving his head in the middle of like a fucking assassination mission going, I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah.
Danny Glover and Bill Paxton are no more ridiculous than that. And it's fun. It's great. It's a great movie. It's got lots of fun. I think Danny Glover's a badass in that movie. Like, if I had to pick someone to help me fight a Predator, that'd be Danny Glover. I mean, like 1996 Danny Glover, not like current Danny Glover. But
well, no, that's one of the fun things about Predator 2 was like you got this elite military group that goes in Predator 1 and gets wiped out. But then you got Danny Glover, a fucking cop in L.A., you know, I mean, he's like an everyman more than like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know.
Oh, exactly.
So, yeah, I love Predator 2, man. I'll stand up for that along with you.
I think
sure.
Danny Glover is street smart. That's what really puts him ahead of Arnold.
Yeah, but Arnold was jungle smart, apparently.
I want
in mud. Come on.
I want to chime in on Predator 2. Okay, Predator 2 is my favorite. It's actually one of my favorite sequels ever made because the first one was like, oh, let's all, you know, it's full like male on testosterone. We're in a jungle. Let's see whose gun is the biggest. And it was a really fun action movie. Then Predator 2 comes along. And it really goes, it's really much more of a fan service than the first film, where the first one was like more like survival horror. Or the second one was, you know, they were, you got to see the xenomorph head in the spaceship at the end. Bill Paxton was in it. Gary Busey played fucking batshit crazy, and he was enjoyable.
But he played it straight, though. Batshit crazy straight.
Yeah. But, you know, but there was a lot of things in Predator 2 where it felt more of like, you know, it felt more of a TV series. Like you could do Predator 2 as a mini series or something like that. And I'm not saying you can't do that with Predator 1.
I mean, you could do Predator 2 as a mini series. He is back in town with a few days to kill. So each episode could be a separate day in the life of Predator. Like what he gets up to. He opens his little like schedule. It's like Tuesday, flooding. He's like, damn it, I gotta do that again. He's drinking his alien coffee and he goes out and, you know, I'll stop.
Yeah, and it's just that like Predator 2 is just I don't know. I had more of a fun time watching Predator 2 than Predator 1. And yeah, I'll say it's a better movie in my opinion. I don't understand where all the hate comes from.
I don't get, you know, it's like Ghostbusters 2. Everyone just says it's shit, and I'm like, why? And they can't give me an answer because I think the internet has dictated that they probably it's probably fucking, I bet it's Honest Trailers told people it was shit, so now they find or Cinema Sins, and then they listen to it. And that's what everyone does.
But Ghostbusters 2 to me is on par with the original one.
It absolutely is.
I don't think it's any lesser than the first movie at all. I love it very much. And Bobby Brown's video on our own is so much better than the Ghostbusters theme.
Yeah.
So, kind of off that topic, Virginia does say she's obsessed with the movie The Babysitter on Netflix, which is a good movie. Nobody's seen that.
I saw The Babysitter. I was okay with it.
Am I unmuted now, Brian?
You are unmuted.
Okay, I unmuted myself.
I was trying to unmute you. It lets me mute you, but it didn't let me unmute you.
Maybe because I unmuted myself. I don't know. My dog's going nuts with his new chew toy.
But
I think he's good now.
Okay, so on the topic of Predator, like anyone who's a fan of Predator needs to pick this book up. I'm Rubber, You're Glue by Shannon Shea. He is one of Stan Winston's special effects guys from back in the 80s. He also did a lot of the effects on House. Not the Hugh Laurie show, the cool movie. This is his memoir as an effects artist, and there's a huge section of this book that's dedicated to Predator. So a lot of you guys probably already know about. I know someone in the comments mentioned Van Damme being the original Predator, where they just had him in that goofy red suit.
For like
before they called Stan Winston, to come and fix the creature. So the reason that Predator 2 is like more fan servicey, like you were saying, Brian, is they get to go into the mythology because there actually is mythology. Because the original Predator, none of that shit was planned at all. Like that movie was a complete fucking mess. And then Stan Winston's guys came in and fixed it halfway through production. They're like, this movie's going to bomb. And they had no concept for what the hell the alien was supposed to be. Like, all the shit that's cool about the original movie was completely made up on the spot. And this book goes into such tremendous detail about it to the point where I couldn't fucking believe how shitty that movie was going to be. Like, the end fight scene, they had to get Arnold and the guy that did the Predator, that actually, I can't remember the fellow's name that played the Predator.
Kevin Peter Hall.
7 foot tall.
Yeah, the 7 foot tall dude.
Kevin Peter Hall.
Kevin, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
They called them back and they did the makeup and stuff. They're like, yeah, can we just do some publicity shots real quick for the movie? Because Arnold he didn't want to come back for anything else. So they got him in the mud makeup and they built a little jungle set in Stan Winston's studio and they finished filming the climax of the movie. They're like, oh, while you're already in makeup, can we just get a few inserts and shit? Because they didn't have all the shit they needed because they were making it up as they went along. And if they wouldn't have said yes to that, then there wouldn't be that whole fucking ending. It's just insane. Wow. So
what's
the
that
second
book called again?
I'm Rubber, You're Glue. And there's a ton of movies that are featured in here that you guys would fucking actually look. The whole back of it is just fucking Predator. But Shannon Chi is one of my favorite effects artists. You can get it on Amazon for like $12. But it's super funny. It's a great memoir. But yeah, Predator 2 has all this shit because they planned it. So they're like, okay, like all the ritualistic shit the Predator has, like the fishnet and the skulls and all that, that was all made up by the prop guys at Stan Winston. They're just like, oh, well, let's see, what would this thing do? Because it was just going to be a generic 80s action movie that happens to have a monster in it. Like, there was no plan. And, you know, so there's a lot of great Arnold stories in there, too, if you guys are into that. A lot of really funny shit. Because Arnold and Stan Winston were friends from Terminator, so they fucked with each other, like, nonstop on set. It's very funny. So that's the unsolicited book review by...
So McTiernan's movie was almost a fuck-up, and we might have not got any of this.
Yeah, well, that's why when everyone's saying about the new Predator, like, oh, Shane Black is back, I'm like, so what? You didn't know what the fuck he was doing the first time. Everybody bailed him out. Why do you think it's going to be better this time?
You know, I'm so jealous of the career that Arnold Schwarzenegger had in the 80s. Like, 80s Schwarzenegger is just, like, his career is masterful compared to, like, 90s Schwarzenegger and, you know, up until now.
Kindergarten Cop and stuff. And Jingle All the Way.
Well, my favorite Schwarzenegger movie of the 90s, and it will be to this very day, will always be The Last Action Hero.
Oh,
and it's that movie that parodies his entire career, but it's so good. It like the way that they do it, it's like they have a great relationship between him and the kid. And they give you the backstory of the kid, and you know, and they you know, who wouldn't, you know, any child growing up in the 90s, even the 80s, who wouldn't want to go into the fucking like the theater screen and then be a part of the movie where everyone is just living in this like fantasy. Like, that's like the ultimate like wet dream of anyone who is obsessed with movies, is just to be in a movie that they love.
I saw that shit in the theater when I was a kid, and I was like hoping that I'd get sucked in.
Man, did you get sucked in?
No. Well, I'm not going to finish that story for legal reasons. Let's just say that I don't go back to the Cineplex anymore.
And like, you know, and of course you have scenes where F. Murray Abraham gets shot by a fucking cartoon and dies. Yeah, they're like scenes like that didn't make sense, but it's just like a great movie. I don't know. Let's actually hear. I could talk about Schwarzenegger movies all the time, even though we're a horror podcast of a horror website. I could talk Arnold Schwarzenegger movies like till I'm blue in the face. It would be like a 12-hour show, but I won't do that to you guys. But he had a great career in the 80s. And he had a lot of cool movies, too. Like, Running Man was probably...
I think Jingle All the Way is a standout. That movie is fucking hilarious.
It's turbo time!
Watch that again. Like, that movie is so fucked up with Sinbad is like a fucking terrorist who, like, sends mail bombs and they get an animal drunk. He punches a reindeer in the face. Like, that shit would not fly today. It's a really psychotic movie.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of it. Like, Sinbad was the motherfucking boss. What was he? He was Shazam, right? Shazam?
Yeah.
Give me your cookies.
There's someone in my house eating my cookies. I love it. Actually, that was the Seventh Day, I believe. That was not.
Did they mention at all
Day,
Van?
seventh day.
In Shia's book,
Sixth
did
day.
they mention that Van Damme was like a whiny bitch the entire time? Because that's the rumors I heard.
Well, they didn't come on set until after they'd already fired him because they were like, "Oh shit, our creature looks like a weird like Power Rangers villain. We need to do something about this."
Yeah, we need to make him like 1 full foot taller and look scary.
Yeah.
Not a 5'11" guy.
Yeah, he's doing gymnastics, and they still use some of that footage in the movie, which is hilarious. Like, it's through the invisibility stuff, and it looks really goofy. But we still love it.
I have a picture somewhere that I saw off. It was Carl Weathers and Van Damme when he had like half of the outfit on, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, what would that franchise have been if Van Damme actually like did the whole fucking movie?
It wouldn't be a franchise.
No, it wouldn't.
It would have been over.
Yeah, but
Give me your toy.
But yeah, no, I adore the Predator series, and it's sad to see like these reviews come out because I don't really ever go by reviews when they come out. I feel like Rotten Tomatoes destroys the love and joy of going to see a movie. Like whenever a movie comes out, I block Rotten Tomatoes. I want nothing to do with Rotten Tomatoes when a movie comes out because I know that they're always going to give movies that are like highly praised or talked about, during whatever production or post production, and they're going to be like, "Oh, it has 100% fresh rating." It's like, really? No, it doesn't. Or like a movie that you're like looking for is like everyone on Rotten Tomatoes says this movie is garbage. But you have Shane Black and Fred Decker teaming up again, since Monster Squad, Mike Lombardo's favorite movie, and they're making this new badass Predator movie, and Shane Black was one of the stars in the original. What could go wrong? Well, apparently everyone says that it's a terrible movie, but am I still going to see it?
Well, I mean, I figure it can't be worse than Alien Covenant, so
True.
Maybe it won't be such a blackout of the franchise. And the movie Predators with an S was all right. That movie got shit on a lot, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was an interesting one because it showed the different types of predators.
Yeah, well, have you ever read the comics? So the comics are really cool, and also it's something I'd really recommend to people is a book series called The Rage War. It's Alien versus Predator. It's a really interesting. There's 3 of them. They're written by Tim Levin, and the other one's called it's Alien Invasion, and then Alien vs. Predator Armageddon. But they're really high concept sci-fi, but it's about like mankind teaming up with the predators to fight like weaponized xenomorphs. It's really, really, really fucking like a huge epic. It kind of fucks with the mythos a little bit, but that's what I liked about it because it wasn't generic. Because a lot of the tie-ins and stuff are kind of they play it too safe, and this was kind of like wildly different. But there's a lot of the cool Predator mythos stuff in here. I think people would really be into. So I would highly recommend that. And Tim Levin's a great author. All this stuff is good. So it's a solid read.
I'll have to check it out. They made an entire novel series on Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, so there is Predator Incursion. That's the first one. Alien Invasion is the second one. And then Alien versus Predator Armageddon. These just came out like last year. You can buy at Barnes and Nobles or Books a Million, whatever is nearby. But they're really, really excellent.
I love Giger's design for the xenomorph. Like it's, my God, like the xenomorph has always been like the scariest, most frightening creature in any horror movie, in my opinion.
I agree entirely.
And I just recently watched a Giger inspired movie as of lately. I haven't seen it since the 90s, but I figured I would rewatch it.
Future Kill?
Yeah, Future Kill, right? No, I watched the all-star A-list horror movie Species, which was it was very interesting coming back and reviewing that movie after what, 20 years now, at least, a little bit over.
Oh yeah, 12-year-old Mike gives Species 2 tissue boxes up.
But no, Species. I watched it a long time ago. I don't know if any of you who are in Facebook land have seen Species recently. I know you've all seen it when it first came out. There was the Species, there was Mimic, there was Relic. Like those were all like the main like horror movies of like the mid '90s.
And they all came out around the same time.
Yeah, the Relic. What's up?
Right before that, Deep Rising came out.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Relic was like my favorite out of those three, even though like, yeah, the movie's awesome. My wife loves the books.
The first book is okay. The other ones are kind of stupid.
Yeah. But I watched the Relic all the time when it was on pay-per-view. I always ordered it, and for some reason I didn't know that it wasn't free. You know, back in the pay-per-view when you had to go to channel 99 and call in to order it. I you know, being a child, I had a woman's voice, so I called with my mom's credit card, and we ordered the Relic every day, which was exciting because you get it for 24 hours. But
this is Mrs. Enright.
I did it with the Nickelodeon Splat magazines as well. So eventually she came she caught on to it. But yeah, no, I rewatched Species, okay, and it really surprises me that people like Alfred Molina and Forrest Whitaker, and not so much Michael Madsen, because he'll do any movie. Ben Kingsley, and they did this movie,
Sir Ben Kingsley,
with such serious poise, and you rewatch it so many years later, you're like, they would have never done this movie today.
Dude, Forrest Whitaker is embarrassing in Species. I feel so bad for him in that movie. Not his character, like him as a person. It's like, what did you do? His performance is so awful, and his character is so badly written and nonsensical. It's like he's an empath. It's like, are you psychic? No. Then what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, he feels scared. He's like, she feels scared, running away. She's an alien. It's like, no shit, buddy. Thanks for that. I'm so happy you clarified this for us. Oh, look, Natasha Henstridge is naked again. I'm listening.
Oh, look, she's naked. Didn't Scream Factory put those out just recently?
Yeah, I was like, the first Species is a fun movie. I just rewatched it recently. Like, there's got some really cool effects and stuff in it. Species 2 has some cool effects too, though it's troublingly like low-key racist. It's not even low-key. It's pretty blatantly racist. The second one.
Yeah, I watched all. I think there's 4 of them. I watched all 4 of them in one night, one time.
4 now?
Yeah, I think there's 4 of them.
The third one was a Sci-Fi Channel TV movie. Did they do a 4th direct-to-video?
Yeah, they were all on Sci-Fi. This was I'm pretty sure there's a 4th. It's like the Awakening or something like that, maybe. I think it's a follow-up to the third one.
That's that's a thing.
Did Michael Madsen ever return to? I've only seen the first one.
No,
I don't think they got anybody back. They got Natasha Henstridge back because it's like Syl versus like the new chick in one of them or something.
There was a man too.
Yeah, well, the second one is the dude, Patrick.
Yeah, that's right.
Patrick.
Oh wait, we got a comment. Virginia Buchanan, they suck. Were you talking about the books or Rotten Tomatoes? I just saw that in the comments. I'm curious. I don't know anybody else that read those books except for my buddy Eric. So
I'm going to say Rotten Tomatoes because Rotten Tomatoes does suck.
I never go on that site, like, ever. People use IMDb anymore? Is that even a thing? Like, does anyone care about IMDb?
I do. I love IMDb.
Especially with Party Night coming out.
Well, because like I feel like that's where like real reviews are, because like that's like regular people reviewing it. It's not just an aggregator like Variety and shit. Like I don't give a fuck what they have to say.
It's not pretentious. It's not pretentious media critics. I mean, there are some of those, but yeah, IMDb. I actually have put a couple of reviews up on IMDb finally.
Rotten Tomatoes sucks.
Were you the one that gave Party Night a 1?
No, I did not. I gave him a 2.
No.
I have an IMDb account for acting. So filmmakers, you're out there and you want a Brian Enright in your movie, hit me up. IMDb goes right to my email.
Brought to you by a shameless plug.
That's right.
Brian and Right.
I'm trying to
there's
get
no
this
shame
thing
in
going.
Oh, speaking of reviews on a pseudo-related topic, I don't have it upstairs with me, unfortunately, but the Brain Scan Blu-ray from Scream Factory dropped last week, and it's fucking excellent. Like, really excellent. That movie's held up surprisingly well for being like a 90s like cyber movie. But it's weird because it's not labeled as like a collector's edition, but it's got like fucking 4 hours of extra features on it. So I'm a little confused.
They didn't buy art for it.
What's that?
It's probably because they didn't buy art for it. That's why it's not a collector's edition.
Is that the only difference? I was wondering what they constitute as a
I'm
collector's.
assuming.
Yeah, because it's got a commentary track and like a whole bunch of documentaries and shit. Like really, really in-depth interviews. Really, really beautiful disc. Great fucking movie too. Highly recommend it.
Man,
I'll have to buy
seen
it.
that one in years.
Yeah, I'll probably end up buying that too. I actually liked that movie back in the day, back when Eddie Furlong was still Eddie Furlong.
Yeah, dude, he phones this performance in so bad though. You can tell with a vengeance. He didn't want to be there.
Not Night of the Demons Eddie Furlong. So.
Oh god, that was bad.
How was that movie, or was it just his performance that was bad?
His performance was really bad. The movie isn't great. I'm not gonna lie, it's not terrible to me, but it's terrible. Does that make sense?
I remember. I haven't seen it since it came out. I remember there being a couple parts I thought were really, really cool.
Yeah.
Something with like blood coming down the walls or something, like the walls are bleeding, but like super like splattery. I thought that was really cool. A couple other things, but then the rest of it was just really bad. And then I watched all the interviews with the cast on the DVD, and the topic of the original comes up, and not a single one of them knew it was a remake, and that pissed me off a lot.
So on a scale from Birdemic to The Exorcist, how would you rate this movie?
In the middle.
Well,
would you give it a rating of Ernest Scared Stupid?
No, man, that is the top rating. Well, so what's the Birdemic versus The Exorcist? I think they're both the most scariest film of all time. So, how would you really gauge that? I mean, I don't even think The Exorcist is scary, for the record.
I did a review for Night of the Demons, so I can tell you what I gave it if you give me just a second.
No, but on a serious note, though, that Exorcist thing, I seriously don't think it's scary because I'm an atheist. So I'm like, nothing in this movie lands for me. I mean, I think it's an excellent movie and it's really cool, but I don't think it's frightening at all. It's like, man, that shit scared me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not afraid of getting possessed by an imaginary anything. So,
well, plus it'd be Pazuzu.
Well,
get possessed by Pazuzu. That's not very frightening.
Well, I'm scared of falling down a big flight of stairs. That freaked me the fuck out. I'm also afraid of pissing myself in front of company. Like that's
like when you have a piano party going.
Dude, I have so many piano parties. I used to tickle the ivories like nobody's business.
All right, so IMDb has a rating of 4.7 on the Night of the Demons remake. I gave it a 5.0, so I was right in the middle.
Right smack dab at the middle.
I don't know. It's nothing compared to the original. If it didn't have Night of the Demons on it, I'd give it a 5.1.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think the original Night of the Demons is probably one of the best Halloween movies.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you said that. I was worried you were going to say something negative about it.
Dude, are you kidding? I own like 7 copies of Night of the Demons. The opening credits is like one of my favorite things in the planet.
It's really great.
My daughter falls asleep to it every time I play it.
The Scream Factory, did you get the Scream Factory, I'm guessing?
I have the Blu-ray. I don't have the new Blu-ray they're putting out. I didn't pre-order that.
It's a steelbook, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like that they keep doing that. Cause, like, I already spent like $35 on this, you fucks. I'm not gonna buy it again with a slightly different cover.
Yeah,
yeah, dicks. We already bought it.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's like just released. Like it's like
you
it's
get
like
you get an Angela.
It's like here's the Ultimate Edition. It's like you put an Ultimate Edition out last month. Yeah, but here's the Screwhead Edition. It's like fuck you.
So, Mike, I have a question for you. As you know, I was raised Jewish. I recently have become an atheist. And you know, rewatching movies that, like, you know, especially with like religious undertones, and if you're religious, you find it a lot scarier usually than someone who's an atheist. What would mark a scary movie for you? Like what kind of themes? If not religious themes,
for it to be scary? Are you asking for that, or because
to be scary as an atheist, what would scare you in a horror movie?
Well, I mean, there's obvious stuff like sharks scare me, obviously, but
like house sharks.
House sharks don't frighten me because they're so rare. Like instances of house sharks are very, very.
Yeah. What about lake sharks? I heard there's lake sharks too.
For sure.
But no, I mean, like
sharks.
Sharks are scary. Like dinosaurs. Like, so Jurassic Park scared me as a kid because I'm an atheist. If I was religious, then I wouldn't believe in dinosaurs, so the movie would have fallen flat for me. And it wouldn't have mattered.
That makes sense, though. That totally makes sense.
But, no, I think Jurassic Park is like the ultimate atheist horror film. No, but like stuff like themes that bother me, especially as an adult. When I was a kid, movies didn't really scare me. Like I was just talking to Lex about this. The movies that scared me as a kid were The Blob, the remake of The Blob, because it was such a hideous way to die, and like the scene when the guy gets sucked down the drain.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the short answer, the themes that frighten me are getting sucked down drains. As an atheist, this is a fear that I have every day. No, but like in Poltergeist 3, when the little girl is standing in the puddle of water and those fucking arms come up and slow down. That freaked me the fuck out. I almost pissed myself. I was so scared when I was a kid of that scene. That still kind of bugs me out a little bit. But I think the stuff that scares me is thematically, it's more of just like existential dread. Like I think as an atheist, it's actually death is more frightening than if you're religious, because if you're religious, there's a comfort in thinking, okay, well, there's an afterlife.
There's something else out there. Yeah.
But if you're not, then that's so much scarier, because I think with religious people, they're like, oh, I'm afraid for my eternal soul. And like I get that, that would be very frightening if I had that belief, but I don't. Like to me, it's just a black void. That's infinitely scarier for me. There's no comfort. Like I always watch supernatural movies and like movies with demons, and I'm like, okay, if I saw like a demon or something like a hellspawn, anything, or ghosts, I'd be like, oh, cool. There's an afterlife. I'm not scared of this anymore. Like then I would believe in God, because I'm like, okay, by proxy, if there's a devil, then there has to be something else. So it actually do the opposite for me. It would prove to me that there was more than I comprehend in reality. So I would be comforted as I'm being like eviscerated or jumped out at by whatever the hell movie I'm watching. Or
forced to jab a crucifix into your vagina.
Yeah, well, see, but that's just really hot. Like, I think we've all been there. I mean, speaking of species and the experimentation of an 11-year-old watching Natasha Henstridge, I think we've all taken a crucifix and waited for your parents to leave the house and then popped in a VHS of Species and went to town. I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Things don't really scare me that much these days. I don't watch horror movies to be scared. I watch to like the imagery and thematically. If anything can make me think, like about like loss of loved ones, for instance, that's something that really scares me. Like that freaks me out. Like it's more reality-based stuff, I guess, is what frightens me.
Yeah. I have to, I feel like, on the same level, those movies are scary, like the ones where it's like that black void of like the unknown and everything. But also, for me, as now atheist, it goes back to childhood. I think movies such as urban myths, urban legends, and that really has to go hand in hand with scary stories to tell in the dark, because that was introduced to us as children. You have the tattoo from the very first one, and seeing the artwork from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and how we shouldn't have had that as kids, but we did, and we grew up and we embraced it. But I think like the urban legends, like the urban stories, like of course, like the Man in the Hook, the High Beam story, of course, like the ultimate thing that terrifies me is not like your Hollywood like home invasion movies. I'm talking about going back to when we had Carol Kane in When a Stranger Calls. Like the first 20 minutes of that movie is the scariest thing that you will see in any opening of a movie, and that includes the entire length of The Exorcist. Even though Exorcist was scary visually, there's always that fear of there's someone upstairs and you don't know about it. You're in your own comfort zone. You're in your own world. You have the way that your life works is it's a routine. you go through these things. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you eat breakfast, you go to bed, you do side jobs, you go to work, or whatever, that is this routine of yours. And you do it because that's the way that you can survive the day, is you have a routine. Now, when you, like when a stranger calls, you're babysitting children, and you get that phone call, that devastating phone call back from the police, and it says the phone line that is calling you is from the house you're at. It's coming from upstairs. Like, you have no control of how your life is going anymore. And
You
I
must have
feel
been
like
really rich back then to have more than one phone line.
I was just thinking that, like, that would never work in my house because, like, the serial killer, the stalker's, like, hiding under the bed, and he takes the phone off the cradle and is like, and he starts to type and just hears the AOL noise. He's like, son of a bitch. Get off the
You've
fucking
got
internet.
mail.
yeah.
And I'm like on rotten.com and like looking at like that and like trying to find like JPEGs of Carmen Electra topless. They would just give up and fall back out the window.
No, but I mean, yeah. So I honestly think that like the urban legends and stuff like that. That's what scares me, because it's stuff that you really don't think it could happen, but it seems so natural that it could happen. There's a really interesting documentary on Netflix right now. I forget the name of it, but it's like
Legend or Urban Legend Final Cut.
It's yeah, no. It's like this documentary, and it's based off of like the killers that we have today, like the Candyman, or like the killer clowns and everything. How the mythos started with John Wayne Gacy. Everyone knew about it. Like that, and it goes also to like the Candyman story where this dude poisoned his son.
Oh yeah.
And you know the story, Ray. And of course, there was like that whole big epidemic in like the '60s.
Did you watch Killer Legends on Hulu?
What's up?
Killer Legends.
Killer Legends.
It's on Hulu. It's about all this stuff you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Yeah, that's the documentary I watched. And
I did watch that. I hacked someone's account the other day, and I was watching.
You motherfucker.
And like you hear the stories about the kids fighting into apples or candy, and there's razor blades in them, and that's something that sticks with parents nowadays. The guy poisoned his kid. He put cyanide in the kid's candy, and he found out that he the father was the one who killed his own kid. But it had like a whole devastation and like across the nation.
For insurance too, wasn't it?
What's up?
For insurance, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was losing money or something like that. He was losing losing the house and everything, and he killed his kid for the insurance money. Put out a whole front, and pretty much freaked out an entire universe who celebrated Halloween. That you need to check your kid's candy, and you find out that the real monster was the very own person who raised you. So it's just little shit like that.
Well, so I made a joke a minute ago, but I mean, legitimately, the movie Urban Legend, I thought did such a great job of playing with those old stories and those tropes. And that's something else that's coming out on Blu-ray from Scream Factory sometime soon. I'm really excited about. That movie, of all like the '90s slashers, that movie was actually like really, really excellent. Very excited to revisit that.
Yeah, I was surprised you actually like that movie. I don't know.
I haven't seen that one in years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really. Even the second one had some really cool shit in it.
I don't think I've seen the second one. I think I've only seen the first.
Speaking of fucking weird '90s movies, have you guys ever seen the Judd Nelson movies Cabin by the Lake?
No.
And Cabin by the Lake. There are TV movies made for USA about a horror writer who was killing women. He would tie their feet to cinder blocks and then drop them in the lake. And then he had like a garden of corpses, and he would like swim through it with scuba gear on, and he'd write his novel about this. And then the second one was about a film being made about what he's doing, like what he did, but he weasels his way on set as pretending to be somebody else when he's on set while they're doing the recreations, and he starts killing people for real. Really, really fucking good movies, but they never made it past VHS. I think that's something that really cool. That would be awesome if they put that out on Blu-ray. That would be really interesting to revisit.
Yeah,
Look them up; they're really good
movies.
movies.
Very morbid.
Yeah, it was good stuff. There's
So
a lot
they
of
were
really
made for TV movies.
Actually, what's that?
You said they were made for TV movies?
Yeah, Brian, maybe you've heard of these. There were Judd Nelson movies. They were called Cabin by the Lake and Return to Cabin by the Lake.
Okay.
USA, you remember those?
Trying to remember that. What were they about?
It was about a guy who was a horror writer. Judd Nelson was a horror writer who he was writing a story about this killer who had like a garden of women under the water. So he would just abduct women and tie cinder blocks to their feet and drop them in the lake and they drown them. And then he had like, you remember that?
I have to check it out.
It's really cool. They're only on VHS now, though. I wish they would come out on DVD or Blu-ray, but they're really, really fucking good. But we're just talking about 90s horror in general. There's a lot of really good gems in the 90s horror. Like, it had a very Cherry Falls kind of vibe to it. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. That was another USA original.
No, the Scream team or Scream Factory.
Yeah,
Scream Factory put out Cherry Falls. Yep.
Well, maybe there is hope for Cabin by the Lake then.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. I've never met anyone who knew about it before. I wish that more people.
I
had it on
news to me.
VHS.
You can put it up on your...
Yeah, Keith Saunders said, "Isn't Robert Englund one of the urban legend movies?" I think he's in the first one, isn't he?
The first one.
Professor?
The first. They had everyone in the first one. Like I think wasn't Brad Dourif in the first one and everything? Like he was like the.
Oh, he's the guy at the beginning, the gas station guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "There's someone in your car."
That was
they
Maniacs can lick too.
They botched that story, I think, like because that was the Hook story. No, that was the person. That was High Beams.
High Beams.
Yeah, that was High Beams. Okay.
Yeah.
That one's scary, but I think in the original story, the girl gets away or something like that. Like
someone stops her and they're like, "Hey, there's someone in your backseat," because the guy's following her, and it's every time the High Beams went on because the guy was coming up out of the backseat to stab her.
Yeah.
They did a really well. I love what they did in Urban Legend, the movie, because they did a reversal where you think that it's going to be the classic trope, the crazy gas station attendant. He's real creepy and shit. And he's like, "Oh, you got to come inside," and all that. And then he's trying to warn her, and then the axe just comes through the window, and they're playing that song. It's like "Turn Around."
Oh yeah.
Every now and then I fall apart.
That was such a great fucking opening.
Yeah.
And
I need to rewatch that. I haven't seen that in years.
Did they do the Hook?
No, they didn't do the Hook in that one. I think they might have done that in the second one. The second one was like a haunted house and some film students or something. I don't remember a lot of it. It has like a fencing mask as the killer wearing that. I don't know.
That's the third one.
No, that's the second one. That's Final Cut. The third one is Bloody Mary. Or
That's
whatever.
right.
Oh yeah.
But to echo what you're saying about When a Stranger Calls, Brian, I think, and I'm not a huge fan of this movie because I think it's really obnoxious, but the opening scene of Scream is legitimately, I think, one of the scariest movie openings. Mm-hmm. Not so much the actual like calling and being like, "Oh, what's your favorite scary movie?" All that bullshit. Mm-hmm. I think the scene when Drew Barrymore flees the house and is running around the corner. And he's chasing her like in her backyard. Her parents are just pulling into the driveway like that.
Yeah,
and they're oblivious.
Safety. I think that is so fucking scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you could get killed 4 feet from your house, and like that really fucked. That screwed me up when I was a kid. That scared the shit out of me.
Well, then you watch the scary movie where Carmen Electra's running and she's getting all of her clothes ripped off, and the dad's driving home getting some roadhead.
Yeah,
baby Mike wanted to Google pictures of the naked Carmela Electra.
Yeah, they make fun. That was the fucking thinner joke. It's like they hit the witch or the gypsy.
That's a book that I absolutely loved, but the movie
I hated that book when I was a kid. I read the book. I like the movie. It's really stupid. Like it's stupid. First, you give the curse to a pie. I always thought it was so funny when the guy comes back when they hire the dude to go and like kill all the gypsies like pets, and he's like, "I give you the curse of the white man from town," and he shoots them. And it was like, me and my buddy were drunk one night watching that, and I'm just when that scene came up, I just went machine gun. She goes dinner. I thought that was really funny. I don't know. Maybe it was funnier when I was drunk. I don't know, but the movie Thinner is pretty fun. It's good fun.
It definitely didn't age well, but I mean, when it first came out, it was like, okay, this is the kind of movie that we just rented from Blockbuster. It's pretty scary. I may get some sex tonight with my date. I guess that's how it rolled because I was a child of the '90s. I can't imagine what it was like being an adult in the '90s. But then, like, you watch it today, And it's just like, I'm sitting there, my wife, and we'll watch like a movie and be like, oh, how do people take this seriously in the 90s? Let's go have sex. I guess it's the same
That
thing.
works.
I guess. I don't know.
I gotta wear some jammer pants and like slap braces. I'm like, how did anyone take this shit seriously? Let's go back.
Let's go to bed.
But like, I like the 90s horror movies were so fun because like we were just going into like CGI, where I mean we've had CGI for a while. Jurassic Park really utilized CGI and paved the way for like CGI monsters and whatnot. But the 90s was like that experimental time where it's like we have a shitload of money to make this movie. We have A-list celebrities that we're pulling into these movies. For example, Species, and they make these movies, and they either bombed or they're really good and they have like cult status, or maybe they're just really good and they just disappeared after a while. And it wasn't until us fans wanted more. We wanted our old movies that we grew up watching to come back. But like the 90s was like a really cool time for like for bigger budget horror movies.
There was also a lot of bad movies in the 90s.
There's a lot of bad movies in the 90s.
There were a shit ton of bad movies.
Probably the second worst decade of horror.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great stuff, though. You got like Demon Knight and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good 90s movies.
Yeah, that's true. They're good movies, but I mean, for the most part, it seemed like the 90s killed horror movies, and then the 2000s didn't make it any better.
Well, no, so I think what happened was the 80s were so oversaturated with horror movies that it killed the market. But I think there's a lot of the 90s was like the king of the indie like home video stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Full Room, it was putting out a lot of good stuff back then. I think there's a lot of really good stuff that kind of fell through the cracks. There's also a lot of shot on video horror, which I grew up with, that really influenced me as a filmmaker. But I mean, people think the 80s, they hold it in such high regard. If you look at the ratio of good to bad movies in the 80s, there is so much garbage. Most of it was garbage. We talk about this like 30 movies that we love, but everything else was absolute shit. It was just copies of one another.
Mm-hmm.
Considering there was dozens and dozens of slasher films, like,
oh my god, every single conceivable scenario for a slasher movie was done in the 80s. Like, it was just, I don't know. I think the 90s were a problem when things became too clever. Like, they were trying to be too witty and like self-aware. I mean, that really happened after Scream. But like the Kevin Williamson slasher craze, like with I Know What You Did Last Summer and all those movies were really popular. And I feel like the 90s were really when movies started to get that kind of commercial gleam to them where everyone had to be like an Abercrombie model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was really obnoxious. But there was a lot of really good indie stuff coming out. Stuff like Dark City and shit. Like a lot of people don't really talk about. But like to echo your point about CGI, Brian, there are some really, really good, like Deep Rising CGI really holds up well.
Yeah.
Even Deep Rising.
Deep Rising. I just watched it again. This is the 5th time I've watched it since I got that Blu-ray like 2 weeks ago. I love that movie so much.
Would you call that movie a treat?
It was certainly like a fine wine. It's aging gracefully. But no, Brain Scan has some early CGI in it. They talk a lot about that in the extras, and it actually holds up really, really well. Like, it was very well utilized, and they still had some cool practical effects that they mixed.
It also has CGI in it from the 90s.
What?
Lawnmower Man.
Oh, well, Lawnmower Man is a special film. Lawnmower Man 2, Job's War is really, that's the pinnacle of like 90s cyber movies, because it's just complete fucking nonsense.
Oh my god, did you guys read the comment by Keith Saunders? Mike?
Oh shit, it's on DVD?
What
for
is
$60?
The fucking Cabin by the Lake? No fucking way. I'm sorry, guys. I have to leave early. I have to find Cabin by the Lake on DVD. I didn't know that got released.
How much is it? 60?
Is it a 2-pack for $60?
I'm gonna find out right now. Let's see. Motherfucker, $59.94. Yeah, it is. What company put this out? It's a DVD double feature. That is a digital versatile disc, guys. Wow.
I feel like we don't give enough credit to Keith Saunders. Like, Keith Saunders has been like hooking us up with a lot of stuff.
He messages us quite a bit. He's a good one of our better followers.
Polygram.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate
$29 on eBay, Mike.
Oh, I might pay that. Dude, Po Chi Leong directed that movie. I knew it.
Keith
Totally.
Saunders is kind of like our ghost contributor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith, I'm not the only one who sees the messages that you send us.
Yeah.
No, it's
Dude.
very much appreciated, man. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Totally.
$29. Holy Christ, dude! This is a lot of scratch.
I saw Mike's desk raise.
Yeah, his desk is right. I can barely see his face now.
Here's the PAL version for $38, $16 for I don't know what region that is.
PAL is Region 2.
Yeah.
Mike looks like me after I found my copy of The Hidden 2.
There was a second one?
There was a second one, and
What?
it's exactly what you think it is. There's actually like a hidden DVD combo pack that had The Hidden and The Hidden 2, and like The Hidden is like Hidden's a really hard movie to find on DVD because it's out of print, but The Hidden 2 is like really hard to find. I can't imagine what The Hidden is like to find. I know they released some Blu-ray for The Hidden, but I haven't seen it.
Wait a second. Isn't that the unofficial Freddy Krueger thing by some small independent company that makes books?
It was like
written by Blake Best or something like that.
I don't know. The Hidden was
It has the guy from Twin Peaks in it.
yeah.
Which guy?
Kyle MacLachlan?
Kyle MacLachlan, yeah, he was the alien. Alien took over his body because an alien escaped from his planet and it went to Earth, and it was kind of like what's that movie with Denzel Washington?
Fallen?
Fallen, yeah. But it was like this parasite, and alien parasite, and it would go into other people's bodies and control them. So it was pretty cool.
Yes, it is. You guys remember that movie very well?
Yeah.
The devil would always sing that frickin' Rolling Stones song. The Fallen is actually a very underrated film.
It is.
I'm seriously considering buying this $30 combo pack here. I'm like looking at it, and I'm trying to convince myself not to do it.
I'll tell you what, Mike. If you buy it, I will drive to Lancaster. All right, we'll get a group of friends together, and we will.
Fantastic.
We will watch this movie. Okay, it'll be a THS exclusive, and we will drink till we can't drink no more.
Wait, okay, here we go. Hold on. I got Chad Pence. Don't do it, Mike. I need a gift for you next Scares That Care. Well, Chad, I'll tell you what. I will love you forever if you, for some reason, bought me that movie. That would be fantastic.
Well, never mind.
Keith, I have by the Lake on VHS. I have both of them on VHS. I don't know what condition they're in. I can dig them out and see. I mean, if maybe it'll fund my my DVD versions.
Was it a buy it now or was it an auction? Because I'd be tempted to. Now. I could bid against you.
Yeah, dude, that would be hilarious. We'll just do a live episode of me and Jared bidding on this movie that I only tangentially or partially remember. And it's like we end up spending like $300 and I put it in. It's just complete shit. But see, now that I've told the world that it exists, the price is going to skyrocket.
It's going to be in standard format, Mike. I hope you're ready for that. It's going to be in standard format.
All right.
Yeah.
Pan and scan standard format, just like good old VHS. The tracking too.
Yeah. Chad Pence said, "You dick." Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know what I was going to say with that, but if anyone out there wants to buy me Cabin in the Woods or Cabin in the Lake, by all means, please do it, because I'm very broke right now. But yeah, no, I remember it being a really cool movie. Like I think it's good stuff. And
you said Judd Nelson was in it?
Yeah, he's the star. He's the killer. I didn't even know who he was. I'm like, I like this Judd Nelson guy, and I went on AOL and looked him up, and I saw like, oh, he's in those movies.
Yeah.
But,
he was in The Breakfast Club and 100 other B movies. He was also in New Jack City, which is a very good movie.
Not to be confused with City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold. I don't know where that came from.
It's nothing like New Jack City. I still have the New Jack City soundtrack. What kind of child of the 90s am I?
Stop it. Stop it. All right, I'm muting myself.
What?
So, not a horror movie, but New Jack City. Has anyone seen New Jack City? Eh? Am I my brother's keeper?
You know what else needs a fucking Blu-ray release is another 90s movie, Necronomicon, the anthology.
Oh my god.
Films in it.
I heard you mention that last week, and I totally agree.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
oh,
Jared
fucking,
got the bootleg.
And what's the fucking deal with this Trilogy of Terror is getting a Blu-ray release? And like it's got like 5 DVD releases from Anchor Bay, but never Trilogy of Terror 2, which is the better movie. No one talks about that one. That one's so much cooler.
I didn't know there was a sequel. All I know is that there's a third
Yeah.
segment that people only watch from the first Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah,
The second one came out like 10 years later, I think.
well, Trilogy of Terror has Prey, which is the Zuni doll episode, and that was based on the Richard Matheson story, Prey.
Hmm.
So the second Trilogy of Terror has a really cool story about giant rats in the cemetery. It's very Tales from the Crypt. Then there's an episode or a story about a woman who uses black magic to bring her son Bobby back to life because he like drowned, and then it brings back like a little evil demon version of him instead. That's really fucking cool.
It's like
and
how
then the
like
last
Voodoo
story,
Ball? Except a demon, right?
It's
Yeah,
different. It's different. But it's all fucked up. It's kind of like the Bad Seed, sort of, but a little more disturbing. And then there was the last story is the Zuni doll story, but it's set in the museum, and it's like there's a security guard who there's like a display African warriors with bows and arrows, and the Zuni doll like used the bow and arrow to like shoot the security guard in the throat with an arrow, and it scared the shit out of me as a kid. So to this day, I have an irrational fear of security guards getting shot in the throat with bows and arrows.
Well, then you'll love Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, Trilogy of Terror 2,
I
better
assume that's
movie.
what happens.
Be on fucking. I have it on video, but it needs to be on Blu-ray.
Damn.
Call Scream Factory. Call your buddies there. Maybe Justin can start getting movies like that.
I honestly, I don't. Well, Trilogy of Terror is a little bit more high profile than some of the other ones we were talking about. But I mean, I'm sure the rights to one of those movies can't be all that much, just for like a license, just to do like a one-time run or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem is those companies that owned them, like Vidmark and all like the 80s companies, they all went out of business, so the rights are all tangled up. They've been bought out by like 10 different companies. They just get assimilated into like Lionsgate's catalog or something eventually, but they'll never touch it, you know, because it's too obscure.
Well, I just watched Burnt Offerings, and the scariest part of that movie was Oliver Reed sucking in his stomach whenever he was shirtless.
Jared, I love that bandana you're wearing. Where'd you get it?
Oh, I got it at the new pizza place I'm working at.
Oh. I have to say, your coat is so rich and shiny. Like,
I was gonna say Jean-Paul Gaultier.
It's because I eat my food with olive oil.
Jared, and if you also don't mind me saying, are you shitting on the carpet?
Maybe.
Oh, look at Nibbler. Ladies and gentlemen, the dog of the Horror Syndicate. Hi, Nibbler. Nibbler! Hey!
Nibbler, look.
He's busy.
He's like a shadow man.
I'm trying to hide his toy.
Oh, that's another thing that scares me. Shadow people. Because I have seen some in real life. Even though they technically don't do anything. They're just there.
Was that like a year ago you said you came across one?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw in the hallway, and like I freaked out, and I found out it's a common thing to see shadow people. Especially there's like one with a hat. I did not see that one. I just saw the cloaked shadow person.
When I was a kid, I thought I saw a shadow man in the hallway, and I had just read one of the scary storybooks I had, like historical hauntings, and it was about the Berkeley house or the Berkeley Square house. Have you guys ever read about that? The Horror of Berkeley Square, I think the story was called, but it freaked me the fuck out. There was like an amorphous like shadow thing that killed a bunch of people, presumably, and then I went out and like a week later I saw something like that in my hallway, and then I was terrified.
Did you guys ever watch the documentary on Netflix called The Nightmare?
Is that the thing about sleep
It's
paralysis?
about sleep
Yeah,
paralysis.
sleep
but
paralysis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I heard about it.
The shadow man, or whatever you call it, that's something people see a lot with sleep paralysis. So,
Or the old hag thing.
yeah, it's really kind of a good, not kind of a good. It's a pretty cool documentary. I mean, about sleep paralysis.
Keith Saunders said I watched 976. It's Evil's 976. It's 976 Evil recently. Very entertaining. That was Robert Englund's directorial debut, if I'm not mistaken. That was a fun movie.
I think that movie scared me. I'm trying to remember.
Is it the
The
cat
kid-
eating the lady at the end? That scared me as a kid.
The kid
What?
from Fright Night was in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Evil from Fright Night was in it, right?
Yeah, the part when the mom is dead in her bed and there's all the cats like eating her corpse, that freaked me the fuck out when I was a kid. I didn't know what movie it was from.
You just don't like things that are realistic, I guess.
What was his name? Stephen Jeffries or something like that. The guy who played the kid. In
Shit,
Fright Night?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
No, he wasn't an Evil Speak. That was Clint Howard.
he did a bunch of adult films later on in life.
Really? Evil Ed did?
Yeah,
Was he an actor or a director?
he was the talent.
His voice all like crazy and like scratchy like it is in Fright Night and shit?
Maybe I haven't seen it.
Every time he came, he said, "You're so cool, Brewster."
I think he
So hot, Jenna!
I think he does moan a lot. I guess that's what happens in adult videos.
Oh, like going like that.
You're so cool, Brewster. No, yeah, he was an adult film star in the 90s. Yeah,
That's fucking funny.
you can search him up if you want. I think he had a different name, but I met him. He was a pretty cool guy.
He's a gay porn star, Stephen Jeffries.
Yeah.
Huh.
You said gay porn star?
Yes.
Well, that's
Future gay porn star. Yeah, okay.
good for
I
him.
had no idea. Brian knows so much trivia.
I met him, and I think that was one of the things he mentioned. Like he mentioned, he did adult film, and he wanted to get back into horror.
Fucking God, that's him. Wow. All right. That's Evil Ed, all right. Wow.
It happens. It happens.
This is one of those watch your click folks out there. I don't know that I can really look at him the same way anymore.
Yeah, that's why I'm not Googling it.
Yeah, wow.
No,
Okay.
but he's a real cool guy. But yeah, he mentioned that to me, and I had no idea. I was just like, I didn't even know he did.
Real cool co-star.
I didn't know he could be doing acting after 976 Evil, but yeah, no, I mean, I saw him a few years back at a convention in Atlantic City called Bizarre AC. And I was talking to him for a while, and he was talking about like all the movies he did and everything, like what inspired him, and to do like after doing like Fright Night and everything. And it was just like he mentioned that like times are tough for being an actor after, like, it's not all daisies for people who do acting, and he just wasn't able to. I can't with Mike Lombardo right.
Keith says it's shield the reflection in your glasses. You're gonna get his band.
What?
You can
Keith
see the reflection
Saunders.
in my glasses. Oh no! You guys just saw the cover of Halfway House Hunts.
That's good. That's good.
That's
He's funny.
yeah, that's interesting.
And Mike's glasses are going to get us banned.
Yep.
No, your glasses are not going to get us banned. You can barely see the reflection.
I'm going to play back so I can see the reflection. Before that,
It looked like Mike was on a Redbox website looking at all the new releases of movies. That's what it looked like.
It was on RedTube, actually.
he's read something, that's for sure.
It was Red Camera Rentals, looking at all the display models of all the test video footage.
Well, there was definitely some pee. I don't know if it was 1080, but
There was some kind of pee.
you know, yeah,
God.
yeah. All right. Well,
I guess you're welcome.
yeah, thanks for that, Brian.
But I'll get to be in Atlantic City again for this time around. I haven't been to Atlantic City in a few years. The last time I went was Bizarre AC 3. They had Bizarre AC 2. It's a funny story about Bizarre AC is that's how I got my start doing this kind of shit. What you see with me on here, except I had an AM show. It was me, Robert Smith, who is a writer for the Horror Syndicate, and we had a third guy, Zacharias, and we did a horror show every Sunday night, and we had guests. We actually had like legit guests on. We had like not. I'm not comparing it to now. We have legit guests now.
We not have legit guests.
No. We have no. I mean, like starting out as an AM station, we had legitimate guests. No, we have great guests with the Horror Syndicate. But being like like not even a year in to do an AM radio out of all fucking places, we had David Bradley, Bill Mosley, Heather Langenkamp, and we had them on for like 15 minutes. We had a Joel Reed on. Joel Reed was one of my favorite interviews because he talked about how shitty Trauma is. With distro and everything, and how Bloodsucking Freaks was like is like not even his movie anymore, and he like had to pay like all this money to Trauma for Trauma holding it, and it was kind of like a renting fee or something like that, and it was really interesting to have him. We had John A. Russo, the writer of Night of the Living Dead, and the original screenplay of Return of the Living Dead. He was on our show and he talked about everything that happened with Return of the Living Dead and how it went from like a voodoo zombie movie to like a Dan O'Bannon punk rock, punksploitation zombie comedy. And of course, I think he got royalties for it. But like we had
get the fuck out of my seat, Nibbler.
We had Kevin Van Hattenrick on and Beverly Bonner, who were the lead actors in Basket Case, and they actually had like a little reunion show on there. So it was pretty cool hearing them like talk to each other and reminisce about Basket Case and whatnot. But yeah, but I'm going back to AC for NJ HorrorCon. Ryan Scott Weber is the director of the event. He's made a few movies in the past, the Mary Horror trilogy, Sheriff Tom versus the Zombies, and as of recently, he made Pretty Fine Things, all New Jersey horror movies, indie horror movies, and this is the fourth NJ HorrorCon that he's put together, and it's a pretty fun event. It's total fan service. Mike, you were there.
I was really impressed. We went there for the film festival with White Doomsday, and I'll be honest, I spent more time at the convention than the film festival. Like, it was legitimately like a fucking fantastic show. I see their guest list every year. I'm like, damn, like they're killing it. Like it was a really, really, really fun show. I wish I could go back this time, but alas.
Okay. Well, you'll be there in spirit. I actually got to meet Mike in person, which was really exciting. I met him and his crew. I met his best friend. I met his mom, and they're very humble to have me around. This was pre-Horror Syndicate Mike Lombardo. This was award-winning director Mike Lombardo without the Horror Syndicate, and we got to hang out.
Like Stephen Joffrey's resorted to adult films later in his career.
God damn it! I should have never said anything. No, I should have never said anything.
Shows, just
because I have friends who are friends with him that watch this show, and now they're going to be like, "Great! Now everyone knows that he's done things."
Well, it's every link was like Fright Night's Evil Eddie in porn. I mean, outside he's got like a 6-pack and shit. I mean, obviously, he's living it up. He's living the best life.
It's so funny you guys are talking about that because I just got the Blu-ray in the mail today.
Oh, what is that? The Twilight Time?
I think it's a ripoff of the because it's got the 18 mark, so it's not the actual
Oh,
Twilight
is that Region B?
No, it's an all-region one.
Oh, no shit. Does it have extras?
It has all the special editions. It's got like a whole bunch of them.
Where did you get that?
eBay.
How much?
23.
Holy Christ. That's not bad. I gotta get that. I love Fright Night.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna love it even more now.
Outside.
Although, yeah, now I'll tell you though, I don't like what's his face playing the vampire. I don't think he does a very good job.
Jerry DeAndre.
Chris Sarandon.
Resurrected as well. I really think he's just kind of goofy.
Chris Sarandon.
Yeah, that's his name. He's just super. I don't know. He just looks like a. Well, he is. He's a soap opera star in the middle
Prince
of
Humperdinck, for fuck's sake.
He's Jack Skeleton.
Is he?
The Pumpkin King, yeah.
Except for the singing.
It was he was the voice, and Danny Elfman was the
singer.
The singer, yeah.
No,
I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't dislike that guy. I mean, I love watching his interviews. He's very genuine, and he seems very affectionate about the movies he did. But I think The Resurrected is a pile of shit. And Fright Night just seems so, like, generic. I guess that was the thing, but he's so, like, 80s, like, glamorous, like, hot guy. It just, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
80s glamorous hot guy doesn't do it for you?
No, I'm more of an Evil Ed kind of guy, you know?
Yeah,
I like I'm more a fan of, like, the bandana. I'm not even going to describe what I saw. Never mind. I know is that apparently, like, early 90s porn has a lot of pirates because they're all wearing
It's life, man. It's life. You never know.
It must have been R-rated.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that they were definitely swapping some poop decks.
Speaking about like pirates, have you guys ever played Words with Friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made a expansion called Pirates or Words with Pirates, and the only letters you got was A, R, G, and H. And it was Words of Friends, but you had to spell R, and you kept getting all these points for like writing R, and yeah, that was it. It didn't last very long. It was free.
I was gonna say that would get old really quickly, but that's kind of funny.
It did get old really quickly.
These
but
asking us if we're gonna see Mandy, Nicolas Cage's new movie.
Yeah.
What is that? I keep seeing pictures of people with like chainsaws from like the premiere, like doing a photo booth. Like, what the fuck is it? It's
a horror movie with Nicolas Cage.
What's it about? Like, it looks like all like neon colored and stuff. I didn't even see.
Nicolas Cage is in love with this girl named Mandy, and she gets kidnapped by some type of gang, and he gets I think he gets Left for Dead or something like that, and then he gets like total revenge, and it's like this cyberpunk, like noir thriller horror.
Well, I was gonna say, by the different color schemes that I've seen, it definitely is like very like artistic noir style.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, it's definitely very like cyberpunk synth like horror.
Is it a wide release or is it only like limited?
It's a RedTube exclusive.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Mike, I'm gonna have to get your subscription before I can watch it if that's the case.
Yeah. I can back it off of my new Hulu channel. Sorry, Ray.
What it's there for.
Yeah, thank God, Ray. I can now watch all the new episodes of American Horror Story, my favorite show ever made.
I saw the Apocalypse trailer, and I was like, well, every time I see a trailer for one of those shows, I'm like, this is going to be really cool. And then I watched it, I'm like, this is a complete narrative mess that's got some, like, TV 14, like, sex appeal going on.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, like, Freak Show had some really cool moments, but it never gels.
Yeah, I've tried knocking on the American Horror Story before and telling people that it's not a great show, and I got trolled hard. because it's
lambasted.
If you've never seen a horror movie before,
yeah, right.
P13 erotica to get your rocks off, then it's great. But
here's the thing, though. I really enjoyed Hotel. I really enjoyed a lot of the American Horror Stories, like up until like the 5th or 6th episode. I think the Hotel was like the one that I actually sat through.
sorry,
Made it barely alive, but I sat. It goes from being horror, and then it turns into some like erotic love triangle that like. I don't know. It kind of weans away from the horror and goes more into like, problems with like sexual relationships with each other. I don't know. But, I can barely see you, Ray. You disappeared.
It just says Horror Syndicate on mine.
It does. But, I don't know. I can never get into. I like Scream Queens. That was fun, but I can never get into American Horror Story. Yeah, it's like a throwback to the 80s, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Where'd my camera go?
I couldn't get through the second season of Scream Queens.
I finished both seasons. I really enjoyed it.
I think Ray, you and I talked about that on the drive to Indianapolis about just something about that second
very
season.
similar to the first season,
Yeah, it was almost too similar, so it felt like we were watching the same shit, and it just
I think if they would have made Scream Queens an anthology series, just like American Horror Story. I turned my camera off. It would have been. I think it would have been a better show and probably would have lasted longer. Just brought back the same group of actors in different scenarios, and add to the cast like American. I like American Horror Story just fine.
Yeah.
The Coven series is my favorite though. Keith Saunders said something really long, but I didn't get to read it because I was trying to figure out when my screen was off.
Well, your camera looks really awesome. I can really see your face.
I
told him last night I can see every pore on his face.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, no, using the old camera again. Where'd Lombardo go?
He had to take a call. I also got another piece in the mail today from eBay. It's a little lighthearted one. My Best Friend is a Vampire on DVD.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is that Roger Corman presents?
No, probably not. Have you ever seen it, Brian?
No.
It's an old 80s. It's like an old, almost stylized like a teenage comedy, but he I don't remember, was he like a pizza guy or something? Or he like.
Is it Jim Carrey?
No, that was Once Bitten.
Yeah, Once Bitten, yeah. I know. I was going to say, I've pretty much seen it. I think I've seen them both. Is that the one where... Oh, God, I'm trying to remember. I know I've seen it.
I think he was like a grocery delivery guy.
Yeah.
Is that what does he drink pig's blood?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I've seen it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, he goes to a butcher shop to buy pig's blood because he doesn't want to...
Oh, yeah. And is there a dance at the end or something? Like he's in high school?
I think that was Once Bitten.
I think that was Once Bitten also. They are kind of similar when you think about it.
They are.
But this one has Grimsdyke and the guy that's like Van Helsing, and they're like chasing him in a van, and they got like
I remember that.
Stakes. And I'm pretty sure his best friend was one of the dudes from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'll have to rewatch it because I haven't seen it in years.
You want to hear?
He was one of the ice cream truck guys. Was his best friend, I think.
You want to hear a fun fact about Killer Clowns from Outer Space? I've never watched it. I've only watched the beginning, and I never finished it.
Why?
Why?
Every time I put it on, someone's like, "What's this shit?" It's like, well, I'm like, all right, let's watch the thing again.
Do you own a copy of it?
I do not.
Wow.
I don't know what kind of horror fan. Sorry to disappoint all of you out there. I've never fully watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Not really a horror
Well,
movie.
I mean, anybody that's a horror fan that has seen it, it's not like the best movie ever, but it's fucking great.
Yeah. Like, I know. I just feel like my horror card has been revoked because I have never seen Killer Clowns. But
no, it's not. There's a lot of horror movies I haven't seen. Killer Clowns is Oh, I like it.
Hi, Lex.
Hey, Mike.
Hi.
Welcome
Hi,
back.
Yep, I'm Mike. Yep, I got the alien shirt and everything, so I'm definitely Mike Lombardo.
There you go. Just
He
got
took
done.
his glasses off. He's got his contacts in. He's good to go.
He just
Yeah, that's what he
watched.
looks like without his glasses.
He just watched the Stephen Jeffries video. There he is.
Is that where he went?
Yeah. Now Mike has turned into a 20-year-old female. Right? 21?
Not 20, you got it.
20, correct? Okay.
Mhm.
Now Mike has turned into a 20-year-old female.
Well,
Hey,
he
Mike.
suspiciously leaves right after looking at all those pictures of Evil
I
Ed.
know, right? That was kind of odd.
So what horror movies have you seen recently, Lex?
Me?
Yeah.
Like new horror movies or just in general?
Anything that caught your eye?
We went to go see The Meg when that came out, and Hereditary and Upgrade, but like just trying to think if I watched anything else.
Upgrade was good.
I really liked Upgrade. If you haven't seen that, you should go check that out.
Upgrade. That was what's her name's pimp in Idiocracy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Upgrade with the double
with three
D.
Ds.
I thought it was 2 Ds for double dosage of pimping.
Lex, you ever seen Idiocracy?
What?
Have you ever seen Idiocracy?
No.
It's a must.
Oh my
I
god!
think he has it up there on his shelf. You should
Yeah.
definitely watch it.
It's not horror. It's what the world's gonna turn into. I think
It's magical. We're already there.
we're pretty close.
It says here your shit's retarded.
This guy rammed into my house when I was watching. Ow, my ball!
That is not cool. Oh yeah. I guess we're getting on to that last 5 minutes of the episode. I had a fun time bullshitting tonight. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me here on Facebook at Brian Enright, or you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter at The Horror Jew. I will be in Atlantic City next weekend for NJ Horror Con. I will be there with Chuck and Jenny, and we will be live the entire weekend on Facebook. So you can hang out with us. We will have the schedule posted. We will have what time the movies are playing and what time the celebrity photo ops are taking place. In case you don't have a hand manual with you, you can go on to our Facebook, Facebook channel and see everything live. So that's me. Up next, Jared Letourneau. Jared, where can we find you?
You guys can follow me on Facebook if you like at Jared Letourneau, or on the Twitterverse at @zombie_survivor. Sorry if you hear random squeaking all night. My dog really loves his chew toy, and my wife's not here to watch him, so he's with
Guard him.
Well, dogs love chew toys, so thank you very much.
He loves squeaking it in like the perfect repetition where like me. See if he'll do it again. Anyways, back to you, Brian.
All right, thank you very much, Jared. Up next, we have Lex Quinn, ladies and gentlemen. Lex, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Lex Quinn. I really don't have any other social media stuff like you guys do, but sometimes I post live. I've been posting live videos, and I've been talking about like my day and shit. So if you want to watch those are there as well. So I've had people personally message me, and they're like, "You need to do this every day because this is really nice." And I was like, "Oh, really?" So there's that.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much, Lex Quinn. It's been a great privilege to have you on the show tonight. And, of course, our president and Fuhrer, Razor. Ray, where can we find you, man?
Well, first of all, I wanted to tell Ron Buchanan the first season of Slasher on Netflix is really good. I haven't gotten the chance to catch the second season yet, but I really enjoyed the first season. Because I'm looking at the comments. We missed some comments.
Yeah, sorry my phone died.
For the original Martyrs movie, check Vintage Stock or V Stock. That's where I got it from for $8. But make sure you check the foreign section because it's not with the rest of the movies. I did get it on DVD, which is okay. Martyrs is pretty fucked up.
Not
Bonnie
the
Reimer
one
shed
from
a
like
tear for somebody.
2016 though.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, you can tell the difference. I don't know where mine is, but I would show you. But make sure it's not from 2016. Keith Saunders asks, when is the contest going on for the movie giveaways? Justin Seaman was supposed to film a little segment for us. He's been trying to get 1031 together and out to people. So he's been super busy, and he's at a convention in Kentucky, which I can't think of the name of it offhand. Anybody know? HorrorCon in Kentucky. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, he's there right now, and actually Lauren Lepree's there too. And then so is PJ, and there's a lot of people there that we know. Anyway, so he's doing that. So I don't know if he's actually going to film his segment. I did mine already. We're going to start it this week. I'll talk to Brian off air, hopefully next week, and probably run through the middle of October so I can narrate. It's 4 copies of The Barn on Blu-ray, if anybody's wondering. We are doing a contest. We are going to run it, and hopefully we'll get the 4 copies of The Barn on Blu-ray out to everybody before Halloween, because it's a Halloween-themed movie. Well, it takes place on Halloween.
Exclusive announcement.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get this together. I shot all my stuff, which I might reshoot because I figured out a trick with my camera to not have the camera light in my eyeballs, which was killing my eyes. So I may reshoot it and then send it to Brian for the edit, because Brian edited the Friday the 13th hockey mask giveaway, which I'm not against doing another one of those soon. Probably towards the next Friday the 13th though, which actually I don't think is till next September.
Yeah, I don't think it's till next year.
Yeah. But anyway, you can find me at Razor_33 on Twitter. Follow the Horror Syndicate at Horror Syndicate on Twitter, and the Horror Syndicate on Instagram as well. Our friend Ginny is taking care of Instagram and kicking some ass, and we got a lot of followers now. Not a ton, but like she increased it by like 4 or 5 times what we had before, so that's really awesome. And then follow us on Facebook. Tell your friends about us. If you want to get a Horror Syndicate T-shirt, hoodie, mug, women's T-shirt, kids T-shirt, different colors, go to teespring.com/the Horror Syndicate. Go figure. And you probably can just go search the Horror Syndicate on teespring.com. That's teespring.com/the Horror Syndicate. Back to you, Brian. That's a lot. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Thank you very much, Ray, and thank you for all those who joined us tonight. And if you are going out next week into NJ HorrorCon, I hope to see you there. We're going to have a great time. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night.